This we know. The earth does not belong to man. Man belongs to the earth. This we know. All things are connected, like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected.
There is no law that says that something devised for utilitarian purposes should not be beautiful, nor that the needs of human beings should trample down the spirits of place and time. Indeed, at Metro Transportation, we believe the opposite. This bridge is proof. Connecting the need for a pedestrian and bicycle bridge with the considered opinions of concerned groups and individuals, Metro Transportation brought together a multidisciplinary team of engineers and architects, builders and artists, planners, historians, and landscape architects in a project managed by Barry Craig of Metro Transportation.
The department's intention was to produce an aesthetically enhanced project in this area, but we didn't really appreciate at that point the number of different agencies that were out there that had an interest. Citizens groups, the local municipalities, recreational groups, condominium tower residents, government agencies, people like pedestrians and cyclists who didn't want to necessarily be up there with all the traffic on the highway. We had engineers, structural engineers and geotechnical engineers involved from the very start, but it became clear that we would have to engage people with some more artistic leanings onto our design team.
There was a need to celebrate the importance of the location. For 1,000 years and more, the Humber River itself has been a bridge, a place of movement, animal and human, along the lakeshore and north into the heart of the land, a place of connections. Paul Ferris, Team Landscape Architect.
Well, this bridge is really the focal point of the recreational trails in this area. It not only is conducting and linking the recreational trail, the waterfront trail along the north shore of Lake Ontario over the Humber River, but it also is the point of departure of trails up both sides of the Humber River.
Lynn Eichenberg, Team Artist.
We'd like them to feel when they visit this site is a feeling of connectedness, that they are in fact in an important place that has a lot of history and that the history is there for them.
Doug Floyd, Commissioner, Metro Transportation.
And what really remains of civilizations basically is art and architecture.
We looked to historical roots for this area for a design theme that reflect native motifs, references to some of the spiritual concerns of the native peoples.
Snake figures in the concrete invoke the strength of the great serpent, spirit of the underworld, for the 4 massive concrete abutments anchored 35 meters deep to the bedrock and supporting 300 tons of steel that arcs high over the water. Timeless faces watch up and down the new pathways along the river's banks, recalling the ancient trail that was called the Toronto Carrying Place. At the entrance to the river crossing, the turtle, totem of the middle world, protector and friend. And soaring high over the river, bracing the bridge arches, a flight of thunderbirds, motifs that connect the earthbound with the sky. Even the river itself supported the ultimate connection, as with ingenious simplicity and precise control, the construction crew floated one end of the span over to the opposite bank, and the great steel bolts waiting to anchor it down. David Sizem, Team Architect.
The arches are the prime and the strongest element visually, the most significant structural element, and then the arches actually support with stainless steel rods the beams which then support the deck. So one can actually understand by looking at the bridge the various forces at work. It's actually been a very cohesive group, and we've all worked very closely together.
Vic Anderson, Delcan Project Manager.
bring a team like this to bear on your project in Victoria or Vancouver and see what happens, because some remarkable things can happen.
A connection of talent unique in Canada, and of financial connections too.
Of the total cost of about $4 million, about half of it, close to $2 million, was actually provided by the municipality of Metropolitan Toronto. About a quarter, of about $1 million, was paid for by the province of Ontario, and the balance of close to $1 million was shared among the City of Toronto, the City of Etobicoke, and the Waterfront Regeneration Trust. It's interesting to note that the participation and the contribution from the major funding partners was very much in keeping with the general holistic nature of this particular structure.
And what connects us with the future? Will the connections pioneered during the planning and construction of the Humber pedestrian and bicycle bridge lead to new methods, new ideas?
And this is my drawing of the Humber River Bridge. This is how the arches, I liked how the arches had the Thunderbirds in it, and this is a picture of the abutments, and I liked how it had like a mask on it. I liked the bridge because it had the Thunderbirds in it.
Anchored by Metro Transportation, the bridge team has brought science and legend, engineering and art, fact and imagination all together. As the blossoming of a new sensitivity for change in civic infrastructure, this unique project clearly illustrates Metro Toronto's commitment to a new model of how things are to be. There will be a recognition of both the natural and metaphysical environments, a connection between people and place, a connection with the past and the future.